2026 is here, and so is our $750 build guide, and it's going to be really easy. It's going to be step by step. We're going to show you just how to build it.
Now, it may not look as good in the price performance department, but it is a PC you can build for $750, and it's going to be great for 1080p gaming, and we'll show you guys what it's all about after a word from today's sponsor. Shout out to Jawa.gg for sponsoring today's video. We'll show you guys some awesome deals that you can take advantage of on Jawa.gg today to get the best price performance for your gaming PC build.
Now, the quick disclaimer that I must give is the market does suck right now. RAM and storage are both, at the time of filming, really expensive. We're talking triple, quadruple the pricing. So, of course, this $750 build guide is going to have a couple of small sacrifices, but price to performance wise, it is still really good, and you can still buy pretty much everything here new.
Now, we did buy one thing used in this video, and that is the RAM, because you know what? RAM is expensive. We went with 32 gigs of RAM, we'll talk about it here in a second, and we went used to save some money, but we will also mention the new equivalents that you can get around the same price point, albeit it'll be less capacity. At the time of recording this video, you can still buy them new on Amazon, but the prices are not amazing. But again, no more doom and gloom. We're going to build this PC and just show you guys what we think it's still good for $750 going into 2026. And let's start with the rest of the parts and dive into building.
First up, we got the Ryzen 5 5500. This is a 6-core 12-thread processor on the AM4 platform. I don't know if they're ever going to stop selling the CPU new on Amazon and Newegg. It is about $75 at the time of filming. It comes with the stock cooler, which we're going to be replacing, but this is a really good Gen 3 capable CPU, which is something to keep in mind with our 5050 technically being Gen 5, but you're going to see it'll still run really good. And of course, if you do want something that has Gen 4 support, you can get something like the 5600 or like the 5600X, which will just cost you a little bit more. Next up, for $15, we get the IDCooling ST214XT in black. This is an awesome tower cooler, and like I said, this does come with a cooler, but the tower cooler just looks way better, and it's going to get us a little more FPS and efficiency. This is Jonah's favorite board, in fact. He has just told me. This is the ASRock B550M Pro 4. So this is a really good $79 motherboard you can get on Newegg and Amazon. It has 4 RAM slots, it has an 8-pin for the CPU, and it actually has VRM covers and an IO shield cover, which is pretty sick. So really good board. Oh, it actually has, this is important to note, ARGB headers and a 4-pin RGB header for 12 volts. So a lot of those old boards do not have that. Now here is our good deal, which actually is a pretty good deal right now. This is 32 gigs of Corsair LPX RAM. It's just black RAM, which is gonna actually look really good in this case, by the way, which Matt will talk about in a minute. We got kind of like an all black build here, and it's dual channel. It's CL16, 3200 megahertz, and we paid $110 on eBay, and it appears to be in really good shape. I expect this to work great, and yeah, we love going to eBay for some really good price to performance. Now, you can buy a new 16 gig kit on Amazon for, I think, a little bit less, right? Or is it about the same? It's about the same now, about $110. It's pretty sad. So look at those used markets, but eventually these will be dried and you may have to go 16, which is still going to be just fine for this build. And then one good note to mention is that you can do 4 sticks of DDR4. Now, DDR5 you can't because, well, you can, it's just not reliable, and you definitely cannot enable XMP and stuff like that. With DDR4, you can throw 4 sticks in there. So with RAM being really weird, you can buy some mismatched sticks possibly. You can maybe find a kit now and then buy another kit later. So just keep that in the dome. Now here's where things get a little weird too. We got a $90 Gen 3 1TB NVMe, and it's not even a name brand. It's actually a Vansuny, which is kind of like, you know, an AliExpress-esque brand. We've seen them before. It is not going to be too bad. It's Gen 3. It's not like a Gen 4 or Gen 5 drive, but these may be a little more now. They may be closer to like $100. So do some shopping, do some deal hunting. You could go the eBay route too. You could get a used NVMe. I have had good luck with them in the past.
I'll be honest with you, I did not expect to do a build guide with the RTX 5050 going into 2026, but this is actually a pretty good option right now. This is the Gigabyte RTX 5050 with 8 gigs of VRAM coming in at $249. Now you can get cheaper models for $220, but they do have longer shipping windows. I believe when I checked, it was gonna be like a month until I got it. Not really worth saving the extra $20 there, but I do have to give a mention because I know people are flooding through the comments right now saying, why not the B580? B580 is a good alternative, but in terms of 1080p gaming and the games that we have tested, when we did our 5050 versus B580 video, the 5050 does do a little bit better in terms of 1080p gaming performance. So definitely go this route if you're going 1080p, but 1440p, yes, the B580 is the champ for that, and you can go that route as well, and you can pair with the 5500 and have a good experience. But for this build, we're focusing on 1080p gaming, and the 5050 is gonna be the best choice. For the power supply, this is our good old reliable right now. This is the Rosewill VSB 650, 650 watt, 80 plus bronze power supply. It does come with an ATX 3.1 connector. If you do upgrade to a higher end GPU, can't go super high end with it, but it is an option that's cool to have, and it is semi-modular. Looks really nice, and it's rated rated well on the tier list. So if you guys want this power supply, it's gonna run you about 59 bucks. Sometimes they're on sale for $49 depending on the time of year, but 59 right now, and a really good power supply for this build. Now for the case, we want something new. This is the Gamdias M4M Athena Wood, or the Athena M4M Wood Edition. That's probably the right way to say it. This case was $79 on Amazon. There's so many cases you can go with for PC builds nowadays, and we just want to mix things up with something that's different, that's micro ATX, but also falls in line with the wood trend that is so popular. This case is really cool because, again, it's micro ATX. It's pretty wide for a micro ATX case, so to be good for our tower cooler. We open up this tempered glass toolless side panel. You can see inside this case, we do have mounting for more fans if we want to, a lot more fans on the bottom. We have the two 120mm fans up front. We have one in the back. We have plenty of room for cable routing. Is that BTF support I see? It does have BTF support, so it's pretty cool. Not gonna matter with this build, but it does give you some extra cable routing options. So I'll show you guys during the cable management section. And it does have room for a radiator up top if you wanna go down that route, because 240mm AIOs are actually quite affordable. If you really wanted to go that route, you could just spend like 20 bucks more and get one just for aesthetic purposes. But all in all, this is looking like a pretty solid build for $750. We're gonna mainly be focusing on esports titles and hiring games using some upscaling tech at 1080p. And we'll show you guys during those benchmarks what this PC is capable of, but this is a step-by-step guide. So Jackson is gonna show you how to set up the motherboard, plop in the CPU, the RAM, the storage, get that cooler on, ready to go. I'm gonna get the power supply in the case. We're gonna plug everything up, and then we'll get to gaming and show you guys for 750 bucks, which you can get in 2026.
All right, so Jonah actually already got the motherboard out of the case box. The motherboard is actually gonna come with a few things. You're gonna get something like this, an IO shield, which is gonna go on the back here in a little bit, be patient. We also are gonna get some SATA cables and probably a couple M.2 screws. And then I've already opened our Ryzen 5 here. So there is pins on the CPU. So let's be real careful when we take it out. Just like that. We can go ahead and give a little visual inspection. You know, the pins are in a nice grid. So if one is bent, you'll definitely know. So what we're gonna do is we're going to pop that latch open on the motherboard. And you're going to notice that there is a tiny little arrow there. I mean, it's very small, but the CPU can only go in one way. So that's also kind of your indication factor. And it should kind of just drop in place. We're a little off. There we go. So just kind of nudge it back and forth until you get it to properly seat. And then you close the latch, and now our CPU is installed. And kind of while we're on the train of the CPU, I've already gotten the cooler out. I figure we'll go kind of in order, but you don't have to. And well, actually, you know, let's try out their supplied thermal paste. A lot of times we use our own, but this stuff is not too bad, honestly. It's usually pretty runny, which I actually prefer. Oh my God, they don't give us a lot. Oh, no, that's actually a pretty good amount right in there. Normally I kind of do a little bit more spread than this, but this cooler is going to spread it out plenty for us. So we got our thermal paste on, and I'm doing it in a little weird order. I'm going to go ahead and take these brackets off now. So these brackets come stock pre-installed on any AM4 motherboard, and it's really just some liquid coolers that use them, but most of the time you just end up actually taking these off. Even for AMD's stock cooler, you take these off, funny enough. We got those off. So now we're going to be taking the red standoffs, or red spacers, that's the better term, red spacers, red for AMD, very simple. They do include mounting for other types of hardware as well. That's in this bag. This is actually all Intel for LGA, like 1151, 1200, 1700. We're not gonna use any of that because this is an AMD build guide. And then I actually already got the screws out too. They're in the same bag. So yeah, they make it pretty simple for you. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take these brackets, and these are the AMD ones. You will get Intel ones as well, and you just drop it like that. I'm just kidding. All right, so we're gonna kind of center here. I'm just gonna get these started by hand so they don't fall off. So it is kind of weird. With AMD, it goes on like the edge like this, or at least with AM4. AM5, you know, maybe a little bit different. It's the same with AM5. Is it the same? Mm-hmm. Jonah says it's the same. See, when you build as many PCs as I do, you don't remember stuff like that. All right, let's go ahead and get these tightened down. Nothing too crazy, just a little bit past hand tight with the screwdriver. And we definitely have plenty of thermal paste on there. Normally, like I said, I like to get a little bit of spread, but we have so much on there, I know it's gonna evenly spread. And if you look at the bottom of this cooler, very flat. I've already taken off the sticker, which is gonna look like this. I always try to remember to show this to you guys, but I'm so used to taking it off. It's like the first thing I do because I don't wanna leave it on there. And you'll know if it's left on there because your PC will likely just be shutting off. So we're just gonna gently place that. It's okay if it's a little off. And you just wanna pick a side. So I'm gonna go ahead and do left side. And we're just gonna get it started. You don't wanna crank it down because these are spring loaded, and you don't wanna put all that pressure on one side of the CPU. You can end up denting it. So we got that side started. I'm gonna go a little further. Now I'm gonna go back over here. We can pretty much just finish this side off now. But if you really wanna get fancy, just go back and forth a few times. just in case, which actually I'm gonna do anyways because it's a lot of turns. Cooler is offset, so what that means is you'll notice this side has more room on it, and that is so that your fan can go on without it interfering with your RAM. So you can see here we actually have some space there, which is good. And speaking of that, let's go ahead and get that fan on because it's actually not gonna be in the way. Sometimes you do have to put the RAM in first with some of these coolers, or depending on like the motherboard and like the height of the RAM. But this one's gonna be just fine. I'm gonna make sure that this cable is facing down and that the fan is facing this way. You actually notice this one has an arrow on it. We want the airflow to be going in to the CPU cooler, to the exhaust of the rear of the case. So this part kind of matters aesthetically and performance-wise. You really want to get that fan. I usually like to get it right towards the top of the cooler, kind of make it flush with it. And just make sure you have good airflow and also just that it looks good. All right, kind of scoot that over a little bit. I call these the paper clips. Scoot it down a little bit, but that is a-okay with me. Looks pretty good. All right, and now this fan cable. Let's put this to CPU fan 1. You could technically do 1 or 2, realistically, and it shouldn't matter, but we're gonna do 1. And I'm gonna take this cable, and I am going to kind of feed it in between the cooler and the actual fan, because these coolers don't get as hot as you may think. They're not gonna like melt through the cable or anything. I don't even have to zip tie it. It's actually being held in there by the actual cooler, which is pretty nice. Okay, so now this is like the hardest part of the whole board done. Everything else is gonna be easy. Let's go ahead and do the RAM. So I've already actually opened the slots preemptively. So you can see DDR4A2 and DDR4B2. So you know, bank 1, bank 2, whatever you want to call it. You're gonna skip a slot though. So and look, I was showing you how not to do it. You're gonna actually line up that little notch there, just like that. Now, if your notch doesn't line up either way, you know that you have the wrong generation of RAM for the wrong board. So now we know the Corsair logo goes towards the fan. And this is one of those boards where this side is fixed. I can't open it, but this side I can. So you'll notice that once that pops open, so how I normally do it is I put a little more pressure on this fixed side first, and then kind of seat it. And then the PC likely won't work and we'll have to reseat it anyways. I'm notorious for not seating RAM properly. All right, so now using our LTT screwdriver, we're actually gonna switch over to a different bit. You don't need an LTT screwdriver to build a PC, by the way, but one thing you do need is a PH1. You can find those in like glasses, you know, fixing kits and stuff like that, but it's a much smaller bit. A PH1 or a PH0 even. I'm gonna go ahead and take off this M.2 cover. Another nice part about this board is that it actually has a heat sink. A lot of these cheaper boards don't have that. And it even has extra, you know, upgradability. We actually have a M.2 Wi-Fi slot, so you can add one of those little mini Wi-Fi adapters. You actually have another NVMe over here that's not covered. You have a PCIe X1 and another PCIe X8 or X4. It's, yeah, X4. All right, let's go ahead and open our drive. Wow, there's our Vansuny. She's shiny. And you can leave the actual sticker on. A lot of times the stickers actually are kind of like considered to be a little bit of a heat sink. Which this one is hard, so I think it actually is. Has some type of like graphene or aluminum inside. So we're gonna go ahead and peel this off. This is just gonna help us even further. It's actually a reusable thermal pad. And we're gonna mount this. So this goes in at an angle like that. And then you're gonna hold it down. Make sure that your text is facing down. And you gotta be a little careful with these because you can accidentally slide like the NVMe out. So I kind of recommend like pressing it straight down. And then once again, kind of go opposing. And you don't want to do these too tight. I mean, these are very small screws, so I normally don't even use the actual handle of the screwdriver. I just kind of hold the shaft and just go like that. Just hold the shaft. All right, so we got our M.2, we have our RAM, we have our cooler, and the motherboard is gonna go in the case like this, and she's good to go.
All right, guys, let's get our case ready for our motherboard. First thing we're gonna do is get the power supply out of our box. Here we go. This is what you get inside the box, by the way. You get this little baggie with some zip ties and screws. You're gonna need those. Get your power supply, you get your extra cables for semi-modularness, and a power cord, which, I always do this on camera.
Nice.
We did it this time, let's go. All right, let's go ahead and unbundle our cables here. Again, this is a semi-modular power supply, which means that it has the cables you need, plus ones that you can add on or get rid of if you don't need them. So we're gonna verify and see exactly what we need or what we don't need based on this bundle here. We got our 24 pin, check, we're good. We have an ATX 3.1. It's not gonna work in this situation because our graphics card does not use it, but it does come with a CPU 8 pin, actually 2 CPU 8 pins. So what we're gonna need to do is we're gonna need to add a PCI power, which if you see right here, there's a slot for normal PCI power, which in this bundle of cables will be labeled PCIe power. Here it is. So we'll undo this one. So it's a bundle within a bundle, it's great. Now we're gonna plug in this end, not this end, the end that has the little daisy chain right here. We're gonna plug this end into the top right here. And just for you guys at home who have not built a PC before, this right here is an ATX 3.1 connector, which is on higher end modern NVIDIA GPUs. It is a cool connector, has some scariness to it, but for the most part, it's a cool connector. This is a standard PCI power connector that is on most budget GPUs. And in this build guide, you really just need to worry about this. This is cool for upgrades in the future. So definitely, oh, you can't take it off, but just know you have it. So we're gonna go ahead and take our power supply and we're gonna install it into our case, but we have to do one thing first. We're gonna actually, this is logistical stuff, don't worry about me. What we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this top panel. We already removed the other panels, by the way. This front one has no screws or anything, you literally just pop it off. This back panel also pops off as well, you just pull it from right here. Now the top one, we're gonna remove these 2 screws, pull it back, lift it up, because this is different than a normal build guide video. The power supply is installed this way, which is interesting. But to make it to where we can install, we have to undo this twist tie and move this stuff out of the way. Now this is just a different way of mounting the power supply, which allows us to, well, free up more room inside the case, especially up front, a lot more room. It's kind of like a faux dual chamber kind of style case. But this right here is a power router. It's a power cable that's gonna route the power to the back of the case. So this will plug into the top power supply, and then when you power your system, you plug it in here. So what we're gonna go ahead and do is take our power supply, make sure we have those screws handy in the bag that we talked about here in just a second. I guess I'll show you that first before I put the power supply in there. It'll be much harder afterwards. We're gonna go ahead and open it up. These right here are coarse threaded power supply screws. There are 4 of them. We're gonna make sure we're using a where are we at? It's a little PH2 action bit. That makes it a lot easier. Now that we got the cables out of the way, we got our power supply ready, we showed you the screws. There's one thing you wanna do with this case before you install it is you want to remove this screw, which opens up like a little door. Make sure you don't lose the screw, it's a very tiny screw. Actually, it seems to stay in there, so we're gonna do that. You move this door open like so. Then you're gonna take your power supply, and it only goes in one way because you see there's like a flat panel right here. You do not want your fan up against that panel. That means it gets no air. You wanna make sure the fan is facing out where it can breathe. So we're gonna take the power supply, we're going to line it up like so. Sometimes you may need to move these cables a little bit just to make it a little easier. This is a very different style of power supply mounting. And now that it's in here, Jonah can see we have 1 screw hole, 2 screw holes, 3 screw holes, and 4. And now we're gonna take our coarse threaded power supply screw with our PH2 bits, and we're gonna go ahead and screw in one of the screw holes. We'll do this one first. Should be good once you get one in to let go, and then you can go over to the other one. We have both corners done first, just to make sure we're nice and secure. All right, so we have all 4 screws in. Now we're going to take this power cord, and we're gonna go ahead and plug it up to our power supply like so. And then this, if it's not flipped into the on position, 1 means on, 0 off, you wanna do that because when you go plug up your power cord and you hit the power button, it's not gonna power anything on because the power supply itself is off, but now it's on, so we're good to go. Now the power supply is installed, let's raise this table back up. We're gonna go ahead and get the motherboard in, but this case has one thing going wrong with it, and it's missing a couple of standoffs that we wanna install, which we will need. Remember when I untwisted this tie right here with all the stuff that was attached? You're gonna need the screws here that do come with some extra standoffs, I'm hoping. We'll find out when we open this up. New case, new things. Looks like inside this screw bag, we do have some extra standoffs. Does it come with the tool though? It doesn't, so that's gonna make things a little more difficult for people at home, but I'll show you guys both methods, just so you guys know. We'll go and lay this down. And Jonah so graciously pointed out that there was missing ones, which most certainly would be these 2 right here. So these 2 on the outside. These are the standoffs already installed. These are the 2 that are missing. Now I will show you, do we have a pair of needle nose in here? I don't know if we do anymore. We'll get it started down here, but we're gonna install one here and then one up here. So I'll go ahead and get them started. And then what you can do is get a pair of like needle nose pliers, or really that's the best tool for this if you don't have the actual little standoff tool. And just for demo, I'll show you that you would just take some pliers. This is what I have available. And you're kind of just gonna twist it in like so until it's secure. Now, I have advanced technology, as in some cases come with these, and you should definitely hang on to it if you get one, that allows you to take a PH2 bit, stick it on top like so, and then you can just screw in the standoff much quicker. I can sit there all day and show you guys the same thing I just did, but I'm trying to save time here. So if you at home are building your first PC, you should be fine with a little needle nose action. But for me, I'm making this a little bit easier on me. Just like that. Boom, beautiful, ready to go. Now before next step, we're going to put in our IO shield. This is important before we plop in our motherboard. Now the IO shield will twist like so and raise this up. We're doing a lot of up down with this one today. We're gonna take our I/O shield, and the biggest thing you want to know is these little cutouts right here, these circular ones, these are the audio jacks. Normally they're always on the left if you're in my direction, or in Jonah's direction on the right. We're gonna go ahead and line up the I/O shield with this cutout in the back. Make sure that lines up properly. Go and push all the corners in until you hear some clicks. Again, this sometimes can be very difficult depending on your I/O shield, but I will say the one from ASRock, it's a pretty nice I/O shield. I think it's in there nice and secure. Then we're ready to plop in our motherboard and make sure the I/O, which is this right here, lines up with the I/O shield. Now, again, you pick up your motherboard using the tower cooler as long as it's installed properly. That is the safest way to do it. Just don't use it with magnetic ones. We talk about this every single build guide. So we're going to pick this one up, the motherboard, and we're going to go ahead and line it up inside the case. Do a little drop here. Jonah's going to see what it looks like from the outside, which is the angle we don't normally show, but it'll be good for you guys to see when it lines up properly. Now that it's lined up, does it look pretty good over there, Jonah? Yeah, cool. I'll go ahead and lower the table so he can see what it looks like on the inside. We now have a lot of spots to screw in this motherboard. So starting from the side we just added them, we have that one right there. We have that one up there, one here, one over by the CPU power connector, one in this corner, and one in this bottom part, the one in that part. I don't know if I said that one yet, but there's that one as well. Now we're gonna be using the fine threaded screw, which I'm pretty confident it's fine threaded screws. Just for comparison, that's a fine threaded screw, and this is a power supply screw. That's the one we used before for the power supply. Don't use it for this case. We're gonna use this one for the motherboard. We're gonna take our screw, put it on our PH2 bit, and start screwing them in. Let's go. You guys might be seeing the benefit of BTF right now. There is a lot of extra spots for us to run cables, which is nice. By the way, shout out to the LTT screwdriver. Not sponsoring anything. It's a good tool to have, but if you're a beginning builder, you don't need an LTT screwdriver. Go to these two over here. And just like that, we are now all screwed in. So we can go ahead and pick up our case. Make sure to get all the cables out from underneath it, set it like so. We're gonna raise our table up, and this is the point where we're gonna plug up everything to the motherboard. We're gonna bring Jackson in here. He's gonna show you what the cable management side looks like from the backside, which again, can look a little bit scary going on back here, but don't worry, we're gonna walk you through every single step to make it happen. And then we'll be able to put in our GPU and ready to game once we get Windows installed. But this is the scary part, but we'll show you guys exactly where to plug up where.
All right, it is time to run some cables and plug in some cables. It's pretty easy if you just follow along, and we're gonna start off with the legendary 24 pins, the giant connector coming off your power supply. And I'm gonna squeeze this bad boy right, it's gonna take a little bit of finesse. There we go, right through there.
And you can see it coming out on this side. We're going to line it up with the 24 pin that is right here. Line up, and line up and push, and boom, 24 pin is installed.
Next up, we have the CPU 8 pin, also known as a 4+4 pin. You can see that they're actually kind of daisy chained together here, but this board is just gonna need that single 8. I'm gonna pass that through the top here.
As you can see, it's in the top left corner up here. We're going to grab our 8 pin, flip her like so, line up the clip with the clip on the header. Sometimes it can be a little difficult, depending on how big or brolic your hands are. Push in, clip. And there we go, 8 pin plugged in.
All right, so now I'm going to actually run through the PCIe kind of preemptively. So it's gonna look a lot like the CPU 8 pin, but this is actually called a 6+2 pin, and it says PCIe on the back there.
Important to mention, this is one of the weird ones.
Oh yes, where it's all the way up front. Yeah, we're gonna need a little extra slack here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get that.
You can also run in where this cutout is.
That's what I'm gonna go for. I'm gonna run that through here. Now this isn't very normal, but this 5050 is a weird card.
Yeah, and you'll see in a bit. 5050, normally the PCI power is on this side, but it's on this side. So that's why we're running it through here. If you happen to get a normal 5050, you can always run it through the cutout that is over here as well, this one.
All right, so that's all the major connectors in the power supply. We're not gonna be using like the 16 pin or anything like that, unless you're getting a nicer, like a 5060 Ti or above. We're gonna go ahead and get this part over with. This is a power switch and a reset switch. This case is actually pretty simple, no like hard drive or anything like that. I'm gonna run those right through here, a little sneaky spot.
And McAllister will put a diagram on screen here, but this is the front panel header. All we have is, yeah, the power and reset switch. So we don't have to worry about the hard drive LED and power LED in this case. We're just gonna go ahead and plug the reset switch on 2 pins from the bottom row to the right. And then right above that, the power switch. And boom, just like that, we have our front panel done. This one's easy.
And while we're in the bottom area, we're gonna go ahead and do HD audio. That is this little connector right here. It kind of looks like a USB 2 header if you have one. This case actually does not have one, it's just USB 3. So we're gonna run that kind of right above where we ran that PCIe cable.
And it is the far header with the missing pin on the 4th pin on the right. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. We're gonna take the header, line it up, push it in like so. And just like that, you have high definition audio.
And while we're on front connectors, we got a, let's go ahead and do USB 3. I don't know why I was holding 2 connectors. USB 3, sometimes this is blue, but a very fat connector. And where is that on here?
We have 2 of them, so you can do one under the 24 pin.
Let's do that there.
And here it comes, you see it, it's right there. It is this one, right, like so. We're gonna line up the little clip right here with the missing clip on the header. Line it up. Be careful with this one because the pins are kind of fragile at times if you don't line it up perfectly. So line it up perfectly, push in, and boom, there you go. All right, guys, so Jackson was gonna run the USB-C header to me. Let me go ahead and zoom this in real quick.
This.
Yeah. But unfortunately, this motherboard doesn't have it. You know, in this economy, we're getting boards that don't have USB-C. So what we have is this guy right here. See if it'll focus properly. This is a USB 3 to C adapter. Costs you a little extra money, but if you want to have functionality of that port, you're gonna need it. We're gonna use our extra USB 3 header we have on this motherboard to power it.
Which is pretty rare, by the way. A lot of times you're gonna have to get a one of these 2 USB 2 adapters. So it's kind of like a lucky look at the draw right here.
Yeah, not a super pretty adapter, but it's nice so we can actually use our USB-C. We're gonna go ahead and plug it in. Honestly, it would have been easier if you plugged this in first and then plugged it in, but I'm making it a little more difficult on myself for just the fun of it. And boom, wow. Honestly, that looks uglier than the other adapter, but that's fine. It's there.
All right, we got one last thing. We have a fan header, which this case was nice enough to include a splitter that actually has all of them plugged in, thank goodness. So where would you like that?
So we have a channel fan up top, which is also CPU fan too, or we have 2 fan headers in the middle on the bottom.
Let's do middle bottom.
All right. So as you guys can see, look at that little fan header coming out. Beautiful. And we're gonna plug it into one of these 2 right here.
Look at that little John. Plug
it in. Boom.
All right, so as you guys can see, we have all of the important stuff plugged in. I'm kind of just shoving this stuff a little bit so that the graphics card part will look a little bit cleaner. But now Matt is gonna show you guys how to put in the GPU, and then I will show you guys how to cable manage.
All right, guys, we're gonna get the GPU installed. Sorry, we're not zoomed in properly. Here you go, 50-50. We're gonna open this thing up and install our graphics card. Now, you're gonna need your screwdriver for this one again, ladies and gentlemen, but we're gonna go ahead and get our GPU out, our nice little 2-fan card. You can get the 50-50 in a wide range of different options, but I recommend for the best price performance, 2-fan models make the most sense. Here she is, looks pretty good. Here's that weird PCI power we're telling you. It's all the way on the left instead of the right. So that's why I ran the cable the way we did. We're gonna go ahead and take this screwdriver, remove this cover right here for the PCI slots, let it swing open like so. And then we're going to do a little test fit to see which covers we need to remove, which, shout out Gamdias, these are all screw covers. None of them will break off, that's nice. We're gonna go ahead and check. We want to install our GPU in the topmost slot. Let me get a little closer for you guys. This slot right here, not the bottom ones, this one, which means we need to remove these 2 screws for the PCI covers, because when we go and line this up, like so, you see those top 2 ones, those are the ones that we're going to be using. So we're going to go ahead and remove those with our PH2 screwdriver. Phillips. Oh, Mr. Phillips. Move this like so. Remove the covers. Keep those screws because you will be using it to screw in your graphics card. Now we're gonna take our GPU, we're gonna line it up with the topmost slot, push down until you hear a click, heard a nice little, then we're gonna go ahead and screw in right here. Then the screw above it. Then we're gonna close this door and then screw in this, potentially, if I can get to line back up. All right, so that's gonna screw in, and now we're nice and secure. So now we're gonna take our PCI power connector, see this little guy right here, and we're gonna plug it up right here. Ooh, this is gonna be really close. I will say you might need to pull a little bit on it with the way they mount this power supply. The cable length is a little bit short, but it does reach, believe it or not. And there you go. It is now in and plugged up, ready to go. Now we do have this like extra cable that dangles right here. Let me give you a little better angle of that. This right here that's just kind of dangling. We're gonna get a zip tie real quick. Jackson will be using a lot of zip ties here in just a second for cable management. And we're gonna go ahead and zip tie these 2 together. Just a little precautionary cable management measure. It'll look a lot better. And Nice, looks a lot better. I'm gonna get some snips to cut that. All right, snips acquired. And then we're gonna go ahead and snip, and boom, look at that, guys. We have our GPU installed. Now Jackson's gonna show you guys how to do some cable management to wrap up everything.
All right, gang, it is cable management time. So you want to do this after you have everything plugged in, by the way, if that's not self-explanatory, because it's going to make cables a little bit tighter and everything. But I recommend just getting yourself a big pack of zip ties. Don't be afraid to use too many. It's not going to hurt anything. And I like to work my way from the top down. And so, you know, this case is a little interesting because you got like some, you know, the power supply cable, but you can make that look nice. And so I like to kind of get my cables kind of running together if I can, if that makes any sense. You'll kind of see what I mean here. So instead of running like each one in a separate run, I'm having them all kind of converge to each other. And it'll just look much cleaner in the end. It'll look like you kind of took your time and almost like a professional did it, which I guess you could say we are. And then these guys, I'm actually gonna kind of shove in the bottom here. Now, I always tell people this, I'll tell you guys again, I normally recommend not really cable managing the very bottom of the case, like with a power supply basement, which funny enough, this one doesn't have. But the reason I recommend that is like leaving some cables loose, just because if you ever need to troubleshoot or upgrade or really do anything like that, it's just a lot easier not having all of your cables like incredibly tight, because it's gonna take you forever to figure out like where everything's going. You kind of get the vibe that I'm going for here, you know? We don't need perfection, but you can if you want. That's looking pretty darn good. Let's go ahead and use our flush cuts. I highly recommend, by the way, getting some pairs of these, even outside of computer building. They are awesome to have, and they cut things flush. Hence the reason they're called flush cuts. Oh, that looks pretty good. And obviously we have like this little panel here, which actually still is closing. I really thought I was going to need to remove this, so that means the cable management's pretty darn good. So this is looking good. We can go and get our side panel back on, and then I'm gonna bring Matt in here and we'll turn this thing on and make sure it works.
All right, guys, the build is built. Hopefully it turns on. Is it on, Jackson?
It's spinning.
Oh, it's spinning. Make sure all the fans are spinning. This is spinning, this is spinning, this is spinning. Oh my God, we built a computer, guys. This is crazy. But hey, as long as everything's working all right, we'll jump to some benchmarks and show you guys what things capable of. But hopefully that was not too hard to follow along at home. All you gotta do is get Windows installed or your OS of choice, and you're good to go. Let's get to gaming. Now, before we get to benchmarking this $750 gaming PC, I'm going to give a big shout out to today's video sponsor, Jawa.gg, one of our go-to places for getting PC hardware deals, especially if you're trying to save money in 2026, because if you're building a PC, if you guys know, it's going to be pricey. That's kind of been the theme of this whole video, but you can save some money here and there through used components from their verified sellers, so you can shop confidently on Jawa for used PC hardware, saving money without the worry of getting scammed. That's the beauty of Jawa.gg. It's a marketplace by PC gamers for PC gamers. It's a great way for us to get some good quality parts at a discount on the used market, because used price performance is absolutely awesome. Speaking of used price performance, this deal right here on a PowerColor Hellhound RX 7900 GRE for $435 is pretty good price performance for someone getting a 1440p GPU and needs 16 gigs of VRAM. This is a really good value, and those PowerColor models look really good in PC builds. Or you could get a pre-built gaming PC from one of their trusted pre-built sellers. This one right here is a 5060 Ti with the Ryzen 5 7600 and 32 gigs of DDR5 memory. That's a lot of money nowadays, guys, and for $1,200, this is really good bang for buck for those looking to just buy a pre-built PC and not worry about buying the parts individually. And if you guys use code TOASTY10 on checkout, you will save 10% off up to $10 on your first purchase on Jawa.gg, giving you guys even more price to performance. So shout out again to Jawa.gg for sponsoring today's video. Let me know down below what kind of deals you find on Jawa today, and let's dive back into benchmarking this $750 PC build.
All right, guys, we're in Arc Raiders. We just loaded into Buried City. Probably still loading in some stuff right now. Let me show you guys the settings. So at the moment, we're actually running 1080p with DLSS set to balance on the Transformer DLSS model, which does require a little bit more horsepower, but we have dynamic low ray tracing, medium settings.
Realistically, with the 5050, most people probably wouldn't run ray tracing if you're wanting to like maintain that FPS. And we can show you guys the stutters with, yeah, we're getting the stutters loading in. Do the page up so we can. Don't shoot.
I swear he had like a female voice changer on it first. I don't say yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, definitely as we, we'll see if it smooths out. I know sometimes, you know, these games get a little shader stuff going on in the background, loading those maps. First time match, basically Fortnite.
You want to hit page up?
Oh yeah, let me.
Oh, it's gonna hit that. Oh.
we hit those.
So we can see those 1% lows, see what kind of stutter we're dealing with. Because again, this is a bit of an experiment as well to see if that Gen 4 limitation ends up being a problem.
Very true. And yeah, we can obviously, we have more settings we can change and lower and whatnot too, so we'll mess with that a little bit. I know normally we'll just kind of, if it's running good, we'll just leave it as is, but I think there's more performance to be had here. And you know, one thing too to keep in mind is we are very close to 16 gigs of RAM being used. If you're not going to stream or do anything else, you could get away with 16.
Yes.
Especially if it's dual channel, and that can save you some more money, but 32 is definitely a good move. All right, let's kill these. Oh God. Okay, there's 2 of them coming.
These Onky Raiders.
We're gonna kill 2 of them, and then we're gonna change some settings. Oh God, okay, it's not dying.
It's not going to die.
This is a problem. Okay. It's a little more tanky than I thought it was.
Oh, that thing
gonna
is
be.
incredibly tanky.
Oh my God, I'm not reloading.
Oh no. Oh yo!
Jesus
that thing
Christ.
wants you. Dude, how many bullets can this thing
Is this
take?
thing like stronger than normal? All right, tell me down below. Am I fighting like a super bot? It is about to blow up.
There you go.
Oh my God. Okay.
Wow.
I thought I missed that.
Insanity.
Holy crap. I feel like I need to loot this thing. It might have some good stuff. I mean, it might be better than...
fighting for your life. Gun parts. Okay, something.
Okay, I guess. Probably safe enough. It's safe enough, yeah. All right, let's see what we can do here.
Ultra performance.
Try ultra performance. Maybe even go static on that. Medium.
Yeah. See what that does.
That should do pretty good, I think. This is looking a little better. Let's see if we get any more drops. Now, the quality definitely does not look as good.
No.
It's not terrible, but it's not great. Like, I know there's people who play like this, though, or worse, just to get max FPS. So, there's a lot of people out there who do not care about the looks. They just want the maximum FPS. And this isn't too bad.
Definitely still a little bit lower 1% lows than you'd like to see in a game like this, but I think if you reloaded textures too, because this is another game where if you do settings on the fly, it's not perfect. If you reload it in, medium settings, ray tracing set to static, so no actual ray tracing, you'll have no problem getting 70 to 80 FPS in this game.
One thing that's crazy too is look at the usage.
Yeah, it's very low on that GPU.
5050 actually has a lot more like headroom.
Yes.
Like, I think we could get more FPS if we had like, you know, maybe like a 9600X, but that would be a little bit of an odd pairing anyways, and it cost a lot more.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, we see how this is running. Let's go ahead and try out another game.
Next game. All right, guys, we are in Fortnite, and we're looking for high FPS numbers, ladies and gentlemen. We're in OG Fortnite, actually. Currently running the following settings: 1080p, unlimited frame rate, far view distance, and low textures. Shout out OG Fortnite. It's currently back, because of course it is. That's what you do in this game. Don't mind the 1% lows on drop because, well, typical Fortnite, it makes it look like it is unplayable. But once we land here, we will reset our little FPS counter so you guys can see the actual real-world gameplay of Fortnite. But this is a game that obviously, regardless of budget, pretty simple to run. But it's cool to see what kind of FPS numbers you can expect at PC at this price point in 2025. If I survive, holy crap, everyone is dropping here. Gotta love that. We're gonna do page up, go. Oh no, oh no, oh no. Someone's already in here. Oh, this is bad.
That could be Ninja himself.
This is bad. This is bad. I'm gonna run this way to that shed because, yep, I want to survive. But the FPS is settling out, and we're doing pretty decent here. Oh no, please. Is there something up here? No. Oh no. Oh, come on, Peter. Better be something good here. Wow.
You got a gun?
A pistol. A gun. That's all I can ask.
I feel like you can win this.
Okay. Okay.
Hangry buddy.
Hangry buddy. I feel like that bot just locked onto me and said, that's my target. But yeah, more than playable. Running these performance settings. Again, this is OG, so it's a little more cut down in terms of the graphics and everything, but running pretty good in a game that's still got some players, baby. It's still rocking it. Shout out Fortnite.
Oh,
yeah. Oh, they got a big old machine gun.
Real.
Oh,
right in the feet. Right in the feet.
What a gamer. Hey, 190 FPS on average, 1% low of 80, so pretty decently smooth, not too bad. Let's try some Battlefield 6.
All right, we're in Battlefield 6. I don't really know what those were. And I mean, this FPS is looking pretty crazy, and I'll show you why. We are running a little bit of robotery.
We're cheating! It's cheating, guys! Start screaming in the comments.
So medium graphics quality, and here's what medium preset looks like. But then what we're doing is we're adding DLSS and balance with frame gen.
Whoa!
Only to 2 times, so you can run up to 4, but that'd be ridiculous. We don't have future frame rendering on, max FOV, 1080p, and I will turn off frame gen in a minute here, and you guys will see the difference. But keep in mind we are going to go from 160 to probably still a respectable like 70 or 80.
Yeah. So it depends on your use case or how competitive a gamer you are, especially when it comes to Battlefield. If you're playing against the bots, a little frame gen ain't gonna hurt you too bad. But yeah, I mean, this is a game that's pretty well optimized. So you can run 80 to 90 FPS 1080p without any of the frame gen tech.
That's a tank.
You'll still get killed by a tank absolutely instantly, but this is a better showing than Arc Raiders for sure. Arc Raiders just may really like a higher end CPU.
Yeah. It seemed to only really care about the CPU. The GPU is just kind of chilling for whatever reason.
This game seems more balanced.
It's just how it is, though. It's just how it is sometimes. See if we can get a couple of normal kills here.
And also those who are complaining about VRAM, we have no right to complain about VRAM in this economy.
No. And you know, if you look at a lot of the games that we've played today, none of them have maxed out that 8 gigs so far.
Unfortunately, in alts. Oh
Jesus
my
Christ!
Okay, I just need to know who thinks, hey, I want to go into the bot game mode and operate
they just
the
fly
tank.
the tanks around. I don't even know why I'm saying fly. They drive the tanks around.
You just dropped into crab effort.
No, this looks safe. What are my teammates doing? What are they looking at?
They're shooting at the sky.
All right, you know what? You guys see what? I'm just gonna go and turn frame gen off because we may not have a chance any other time. All right, but we were getting like a good, 140-ish, like 160 even at times.
130 to be exact.
130 average. All right, so we're still gonna keep on DLSS because that's not like frame gen. It's not cheating. It's just gonna help us get a little better FPS. And go and restart that. Yeah, basically half. Makes sense because it's 2 times.
Basically
Stay
half.
down. Stay down, boy.
You're getting like console experience.
Oh my God, I got to kill someone.
Let's go!
Wow, what a privilege.
You know what it was? It was the frame gen. When the frame gen's on, the tanks come out. It's like the YouTube commenters who are
Like they know we're cheating.
Frame gen!
I guess it depends on how you look at it. See, frame gen is almost the opposite of cheating for the player. I mean, they say it causes you all kinds of lag and...
It's the crutch of tech YouTubers is what they shall say.
I would say though, it felt a lot better with frame gen.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, this isn't bad, but...
You're getting that true 60 to 70 FPS, a bit of frame time delay. I think 5500 is kind of at its limits in the games we are testing. It's going to be fine. You pulled a me. It's going to be fine in the esports titles, like the Valorant, CS, and other games we'll test here. But these higher end games, like Arc Raiders and this one, 5500 is going to have some limitations. Huh? Huh? Oh, he jumped. Oh, no!
Ow!
Oh.
Ask me if I care. All right, here's where we're about to wake up.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Holy
big,
crap.
you guys talk about big country.
Ask me if I care.
Oh, ask me.
Hey, Margaret. They're my teammate too.
Ooh. Ooh, 64. Oh, 64? 164.
164.
That guy was eating rocks. Corsair, I expected a very well-edited phase montage for that.
This is getting crazy.
This is getting insane.
insane.
This is getting nuts.
Oh my gosh. Is this my funnel moment?
Oh, yeah.
Come on, funnel moment.
Funnel
Nicole,
moment.
Funnel moment.
He's on his funnel moment right
Dude,
here.
where are they? That was the Battlefield run. It was good.
Let's run some other games and wrap this video up. Hey, PC gaming, more expensive than it used to be, but you know what? You can still play some games on this
Where's
thing.
boy going?
And do goofy things like that. Let's run those other benchmarks to wrap this video up.
So as of right now, this PC is looking pretty good on paper, and now that we actually got to build it and physically test it, it looks even better. The one takeaway that we do have, although it is really cheap, is if you can find maybe like a used 5600 or 5600X that has Gen 4 support, I bet you'll get a little bit more performance out of this 5050. And on top of that, if you even go to, let's just say like Intel, you could even get yourself like a 12th Gen i5, this Gen 4. The 5050, surprisingly, has more headroom than it may seem.
And the performance performance was pretty solid given the market that we're dealing with, and hopefully this build is an easy to copy build at $750. And again, the only used component we went with was the RAM, so you could go new and get 16 gigs of RAM, which in some of the games might hinder your performance, but in most of the ones we did test, you probably would still be fine, and you could upgrade later down the line. So if you're scared of going used on the RAM, you still can buy new using those links down below. But let's talk about the rest of the benchmarks we ran on this PC. First up, we ran GTA 5 Enhanced, 1080p high settings with ray tracing set to high, got an average of 81 FPS with a 1% low of 65. Marvel Rivals, 1080p medium settings with global illumination turned off and DLSS set to performance. We got an average of 71 FPS with 1% low of 49. Not a great showing in Marvel Rivals. CS2, 1080p low settings, got an average of 266 FPS with 1% low of 121.
And in 3D Mark Time Spy, we got a score of 9,508, which is an 8 cents per point score. And keep in mind, that cent per point is going to be probably going up throughout the year, with before our really good systems being like, 5 or 6 cents per point. But with how much RAM and storage costs now, we're probably going to be looking at the new good standard of 8 cents per point, give or take. So overall, good bang for buck, good value. It looks amazing too, and it's really easy to replicate, so make sure you use those links down below.
And if you guys stay tuned to the Toasty Bros channel, we will be doing more build guides throughout the year, the best we can given the RAM pricing. We'll have some all-used builds, have more Office PC upgrades, and builds like this you can copy at home. So let us know what kind of budgets you want to see in the comments down below.
And as always, we hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure you check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/ToastyBros. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
See you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Now this PC right here will be for sale at PCBros.tech for a great price with a warranty.
PCBros.tech, it's where the gaming PCs go. We feature here on the YouTube channel, and we have some other PCs ready to go at great prices with great customer support and a warranty to give you peace of mind. Use code ToastyBros on checkout. You will save 3% in your next purchase. See you guys later. Goodbye.